Good evening, everyone. We have a lovely sunny evening here in Kilrush, so I hope it's all nice wherever you're tuning in from tonight. I'm doing a luscious brownie tonight, so there's lots of ingredients to die for in them. Okay, I'm just going to wait for a few of you to come on stream with me tonight, and we'll take it from there. As I said, I'm doing the brownies, which are a bit of a killer, and I think we'll be walking Kappa for a week after them, but they are a special treat. I kind of thought tonight we needed a little bit of sugar for the weekend, so I'm definitely going to give you that. So hopefully you're all able to tune in with me. I think you're all okay. Just use my browser on there. Yep, all okay. Okay, folks, so we've had a busy week here. We had another masterclass on Wednesday night on Zoom. So we had a lovely group of people and they're all sending me their dishes. We did a lovely Thai chicken with ginger, coriander and garlic and tin of coconut milk. Very simple to make, but was yummy. I must say everybody was delighted. So that was Wednesday night. So we've had a busy week really, and tonight is Friday night again. We kind of get up this morning and said, God, what day is it? So we're fairly busy, but it's good, and we're all getting there. And Leo was happy with us all today, so we'll be back a step on Monday anyway to the hardware shops and the garden centres. We miss all those shops, even though our local shops here have been very good to us and trying to accommodate us with whatever we need. The Super Value Kilrush, who are my main sponsors tonight, Queelies, Paul, and all the people down there in Super Value, James, they're all working so hard. I'd love to thank them and for coming on board tonight. I'm delighted. Another local shop, and as you know, I use Super Value a lot, and I'm delighted to be able to use their products. They have a very good range. All the Super Value ranges are fantastic. And as I said in Instagram earlier there, I'm hoping I'll outdo Kevin Dundon, and maybe Super Value will take me on instead. So I'm using all their products tonight, folks. So I'll start without further ado. So we're doing Luscious Brownies, and they definitely are luscious. And there's three stages. It's a bit like the last brownie that I did, or the muffins. I had 3 bowls. I'm going to do the same here. I have 3 bowls. Now I just jumped a little step forward. I put on the oven, it's at 170. So your ovens are 170 or gas 5. That's a fan oven, right? And I'm using chocolate, which naturally I would, and it's dark chocolate. Now you might say, a lot of people tuning in there might say, oh, I won't use dark chocolate. The children won't like dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has high cocoa content, and that means it has less sugar, right? Now, so your brownies won't be that sweet when you use the dark chocolate. If I say to you, use milk, your brownies will be, what will I say, sweeter, and you would want to cut back the amount of sugar. I have, in this bowl, I have 375 grams of dark chocolate. So in Super Value today in Queelies, I bought a couple of bars of this, and it's now reduced to €2. So you'll need about 3 of those. Now this recipe makes a big amount of brownie mixture. I'll talk to you about the tin in a minute, but I'm kind of using a roasting tin because I felt you all would have one at home. Now you might also, in Super Value, they have the green and black as well, which is a little bit more expensive. And there's 375 grams of butter. So just before we came on, I just melted the 2 of those. okay? And you can see they're now just began to cool. I melted them, in case anybody is worried, in a saucepan like that with the bowl sitting over it. Never have your bowl inside in water. This chocolate is too dear to let any steam in or any water in. So you can do that at the start. You could do it about an hour beforehand if you want to, okay? So that's your first bowl, butter and chocolate. So it's sitting pretty, ready to go. And my next bowl is 6 lovely Super Value free range eggs. So I'm hoping James is out there and he's cooking with me tonight. He said he would anyway. So I'm hoping when I go to Super Value in the morning, James will be at the door ready to hand me a brownie. Or maybe Paul is across the way. He might be cooking too with me. You never know. Even though they're so wrecked, I'd say when they get home these days, they haven't time to look at anything, only put their feet up. It's hard times in the grocery shops. So 6 eggs, folks, okay? And these are large eggs. We use large eggs in the pantry all the time. So you crack them into a nice large bowl. Now you could freeze some of these brownies. You know, when you make them, they freeze fantastic. If you wanted to, when you're going to the trouble. And after that, we've 500 grams of sugar. And I'm using the 2 Super Value sugars here. I divided it, 250 of castor and 250 of brown sugar. Is that okay? And you pop that into the eggs, right? They don't take long. And you put in a teaspoon or a tablespoon of vanilla extract, folks. Vanilla essence is a little bit harsher. Now, if you don't have it, you'll be fine without it, but it is nice. Now, if you're at home, you might just whisk these with a hand whisk. But I'm just going to get my assistant chef here tonight. He's on call. So he's going to beat them with a hand beater just for about 5-6 minutes till they're nice and thick and creamy, a bit like what we do with a sponge cake. Okay, so I just pop that onto my chef. I don't want the noise of the beater to be here because we find it hard to hear each other really. Is that okay with everyone? Your third bowl then is flour, folks, right? And I'm using cream flour, 225 cream, and it's Odlum's, and it's much better in these than self-raising. Brownies we're beating in some air to the brownie, but they don't need a raising agent. So I'm just going to beat that in there, okay, just to get any lumps. There won't be much. You're also getting air in there as well. You can see me there. I'm just popping it in. And I have a lovely fine sieve. We always, we've nearly around the pantry for the sieves, really, because the fine one will sieve things a lot better. Okay, and you'll see there, there'll be little bits there. And into the flour, you're going to add a teaspoon of salt. Okay, so I have that measured there, and in it goes. So we're finished with that. So that's that bowl, folks. So there's your 2 bowls now ready, okay? And we're just waiting for the other bowl to come out to us. Is that okay with everyone? So that's easy. Now, if you want half the recipe, you will use a cake tin like this, right? Half the recipe. The recipe is up in the Facebook page anyway, if you're not able to take it down as I'm doing it. So this is the tin I'm using, which is, if you want measurements of it, it's about 33 centimeters by 23 by about 4 or 5 centimeters high, about 2 inches high. It's a roasting tin that I use a lot. It's lovely and heavy, and you're going to line it with baking parchment. If any of you are into baking, do buy the baking parchment. It's better than greaseproof. And you might ask me, what's the difference? The baking parchment is a lot thicker and a lot heavier, and your baking will come out. We have found this now in the pantry in the last couple of years. The baking parchment makes a great difference. Is that okay with everyone? So it's either that tin, or if you're half the recipe, I will line it with the baking parchment. And after that then, I just gave it a quick little grease, just a bare run of a brush really, just for the sake of it. Is that okay with everyone? So just to go back about the chocolate, I'm using 70% cocoa butter, right? So that has got a lot less sugar. The higher the cocoa solids, the less sugar. There's your golden rule tonight. The higher the cocoa solids, the less sugar. Now, as I said to you, you'll probably say, oh, my kids don't like dark. You won't taste dark. You'll see them now in a minute. I have a batch made. You won't taste the dark. All you'll taste is, what will I say, is chocolate. And that's what you want. These are luscious. Cut them nice and small. The other thing you might ask me is, could you use anything instead of butter? You can use oil. So if you use oil in this recipe, remember it's 375 grams of butter. You're only using 3/4 of that amount of oil. You cut back on the oil, right? And I suppose the other secret of brownies that I did say is plain flour, no self-raising flour, because they rise a little bit too soon in the oven and then they collapse. You won't get a proper brownie. There are a few rules with brownies that you have to follow, and these are the rules really. There was something else I wanted to say to you as well, is the baking of brownies. That is the secret, folks. This goes into the oven for 25 minutes religious, and just test it with a skewer when you think the 25 minutes are up. And it has to come out wet. All you'll see cooking is a little rim around the edge, but the center, when you put your hand on it, will be wet. It will be soft and it will be wet. So just watch that really. Don't overcook brownies. You're better off undercook them. If you overcook them, they will go crummy and they'll break up. And there's another little tip as well about brownies that we might learn is sometimes in the recipes they add cocoa. Now I don't like cocoa really, because it tends to make the brownie a bit crummy. Okay, I made a batch of them there last week and I just added a bit of cocoa to it, 25 grams even, or 50 grams. They tended to break into crumbs. So just stick with the chocolate and stick with the flour, the plain flour. No raising agent, no bread soda, no nothing. Is that okay with everyone? And you'll see me now, the next golden rule then is really the folding. This is like making a sponge cake. If any of you do sponge cakes, you have to be really careful. Is that okay with everyone? So then just at the end, you'll be folding in your walnuts. You can leave them out if the kids don't like them. I'm just going to show you as well as an extra option. You've Oreos you can add, and I also have some Super Value raspberries, and I'll show you how to add those. I'm just going to check on my chef there, see how he's doing. Is everyone okay, Patrick? I know. Yeah. Okay folks, I just showed you there. Take away the chocolate. I'll just pop the beater in. You'll just see it going around in the mixture. Go in. More hurry, the less speed, they say, don't they? So now folks, look at it. You can see I couldn't do that before now. It's lovely and thick. If any of you make sponge cakes, you'll see it. You see the print of the beater on it. That's what you want. Is that okay with everyone? See that? Lovely and thick. So I can finish that. He's there, okay? Now you come with your nice cooled chocolate. So you just add it in. Have your spatula and just add it in. And I'm just going to fold here. Now you'll see that. Not to beat Forget about beating. You will let this air. You can see even, I'm sure, as you're watching me, that the air bubbles are even. Look at them. They're just starting to break on top. Okay? So this is where you have to be careful. Just barely folding. I'm folding there the mixture. Is that okay with everyone? And I hope Aileen is watching me there tonight. And that her lasagna went down a treat last week. She told me it did. So she might be on the brownies this weekend, hopefully. And Kate up there, maybe as well, might have a nice treat for themselves. Now, folks, you can see my chocolate. You know, you needn't go over folding because we now have to fold in the flour. Just like the sponge cake, I'm going to add it in 3 stages. And maybe Emer Constantine there, who's with me on Tuesday night, she might decide to break out for the weekend. And all her Kimmel followers there, they'll have a treat. All the ladies' football and all that. So hopefully, Emer, you might be able to break out tonight for the weekend. These are really luscious now, folks, but they are beautiful. But you get loads out of this if you want to just half the recipe. 3 eggs you'll be talking about then. You'll still have loads. Don't put them in a tin that's too big for them though. They go too thin and you won't have that nice scrunchy buttery taste. So there's my last little bit of flour. You just fold it in. I have I'd say I have a nice bit to say tonight because brownies aren't cheap to make because you're buying all the chocolate. So you don't want them to go wrong in you. That's why I'm kind of stressing to make sure you'll get them made. Now you can see my beautiful mixture. It's lovely. See there? It's just so gorgeous. Look at it. It's lovely and thick. Okay? So what you do then, folks, is just put half of it into the tin. I'm just going to do half. So just pour in a bit there for yourself. About half of it. Spread it out. And I'm going to come now with the walnuts. I'll pop them in. I have them here. Put a layer of walnuts there. And then I'll put the rest into the bowl here. We'll finish it off there and I'll keep some for top. I've Oreos that I told you and I just broke them up. I just got them again, Oreo brownies in Super Value today. So there I go. I'm just going to spread them out, okay? So when you cut your brownie, then these will be gorgeous, okay? I just put in about half the packet there. But of course, if you have more chocolaholics at home, you might add more. If you want to then look at, just to show you, I'll put the raspberries in. So that when you cut down through the brownie, you'll get this nice kind of pinky color in it. And nice and moist. It'll be good. Is that okay with everyone? So now back to, you can see there, can you all see it okay? I'm just back now. If you have any questions, just pop them up there. I'm not really looking tonight because it's just kind of busy. But I will get back to you then when we're over. I always answer the questions. See, this lovely, the walnuts are in. You could put white chocolate chips on top. White chocolate now has sugar in it as well. The milk and the white. The dark is the one that's why when people are on diets or anything, they're allowed to have dark chocolate because there's less sugar in it. Is that okay with everyone? Do you see how lovely it is? It's lovely and thick. The bowl, there might have people that would like to get their hands. I know if Harry and Sam are watching me tonight out in Curraclare, they'd love to have that bowl, I'm sure. See there? So all I'm doing, folks, it's lovely and thick. So I'm just spreading it out. The other thing I should have said to you when I'm making them, the brown sugar gives the brownie a nicer colour. Is that okay? If you use all white sugar, the brownie tends to be a little bit light. If I was able to have my camera off now. Those fingers, I wouldn't be wiping them with a cloth, I'm sure. Now folks, there you go. I have the last of the walnuts here. So just pop them. I just chopped up those walnuts. You can use hazelnuts, folks. I love hazelnuts in it, but they're a little bit more expensive. You can leave out the nuts if you want to. So in it goes to the middle shelf of the oven, 170. Get your timer. Make sure you put it on. I'll tell you a funny story the other day. Yeah, we'll pop these in first. Now we pop them on and we just get that timer. I just use an ordinary manual timer there and put on my 25 minutes. I made a batch of these the other day and I said when I had them in the oven, put on my timer, and I said I'd run to Super Value to get something, I think it was for lunch. And there was a queue outside the door and I thought, oh my God, my brownies are in the oven, I'll never be up in time. But I just made it when it was, when the alarm was going off when I came in. So I just wanted to check. Now don't forget to use your skewer when you're checking them. If they're done, it has to be wet. The middle of the brownie has to be kind of soggy, not like sponge cakes, anything like that. And just about an inch in from the edge will have cooked for you. And you end up then, I'll show you what you end up with. This is what I made, and I even have more to cut. I didn't even cut them all. And I just want to tell you a secret. You see these now, you can see, I'm sure you can see in the camera. I wish you were near how chocolate they are. But they're really, I didn't cut them that big, and I just drizzled a bit of icing sugar or white chocolate on top. And it just makes them lovely. And these are a lovely present to give to people. But when you're cutting them, this is the last thing I'm going to say, you use boiling water in a glass or a jug and a good sharp knife, and you will see the bit of brownie sticking to it. So what you do after each lot you cut, you wipe the knife and you cut. Okay, make sure you wouldn't use the knife on the second cut because the brownie will be stuck to it and they will break. So folks, where you go, they're the luscious, delicious brownies to die for really. But I'm afraid we'll be jogging in Kappa tomorrow rather than walking because there's a lot of calories there. But hopefully some of our frontline workers here in Kilrush will get them. And thank you for tuning in tonight. And any questions, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you and stay safe again. And thank you to Super Value, all here in Kilrush, for supporting me tonight. It's great to support our local shops, as I said. Thank you.